No, the death
The
sentence
death
came
sentence.
first.
Oh, the death sentence came first.
Right.
Oh wow. So then they expect you to serve out the life sentence
Yeah, they
after the death
expected me to
sentence.
die.
Like
They
what the
expected me to
hell?
die twice and then come
Yeah,
back
yeah.
and
Like,
give them life.
or hey,
Plus,
you know,
after the life, then give them another 5 to 10.
yeah. So you never know. You never know. Like this, I will say this: like we don't know what happens in the afterlife. We don't know if that sentence carries over when you get to the other side.
Mhm.
We don't know that, right? But the fact that you got two death sentences,
Right.
what does that feel like?
That's
What
a
does
good
that
question.
feel like
It's crazy.
when you're trying to make noise and say, "Hey, I'm innocent," but and I know people live this every day,
Mhm.
right? This is the every day. This is someone's true story,
Man,
right? But you beat this.
a lot of people are living it. You know
You
what I
beat
mean?
this.
There's a lot of people that's still there with the same story, trying to get heard, trying to show what was done to them and what's being done. There's a lot of people right there right now. A lot.
Wow. And did you have a like okay, I watch a lot of movies, a lot of crime
Hmm.
movies. Did you have like some organization that helped you build a better case and pull your information together, like the private investigation? And you see these like
No,
nonprofit organizations.
no,
So
no.
how did
A
you
lot of those
Well,
organizations are full of crap. You write
really?
them and they'll tell you they're too busy, they can't take the case, or there's nothing they could do. We actually
So
started
no
our own.
hurricane. That
No,
hurricane
absolutely
story
not.
is like few and far in between.
Me, Eight, and Miss Battlecry, call him rest in peace. We had started our own organization called
Mm-hmm.
Battlecry Innocence at the time
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because no other place was shown given the help. I had actually had two 3-ring binders about 4 inches thick of places that I wrote with all rejection letters. They didn't want to touch the
Wow.
story.
yeah, and I mean, I spoke with like Reverend Al Sharpton personally, sat him down, gave him the whole spiel, and a lot of times, when you tell somebody that first off, someone in jail is innocent, there's always a look of skepticism.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you're saying that somebody in jail and on death row is innocent, it's like, they don't want to touch that. A lot of
So
people didn't want to touch that story.
what made you want to continue fighting and writing and screaming, "Hey, listen, I don't belong here."
That's exactly why. Because I didn't belong there. And I knew, one, that I was innocent. Two, I knew what was going on. I knew that these cops not only did this to me, but they did it to, a whole bunch of other people. You know what I mean? In that same city, is a lot of people that those corrupt cops, got, put on death row, life sentences, football numbers,
Mm.
and the craziest thing out of the whole ordeal is, and we didn't find this out, I want to say to like 2008, when the star witness in my case actually came forward, gave my lawyers an affidavit and confessed, to what was going on.
This
And
was the same guy that testified against you.
yeah, testified against me and my co-defendant.
So how many years later did he change his story?
I want to say like 10, 11 years
And
in.
what made him change his story?
He actually got locked up for transporting in Lebanon, PA by the
Mhm.
DEA.
Mm-hmm.
And he was looking at 15 to life for that.
Oh, so give up information.
And he gave
Oh.
up information on the guys that he got locked up with
Mm-hmm.
and did 13 months in the county jail.
Mm-hmm.
When he got out, my lawyers talked to him. And I guess getting a taste of being in jail and what we was going through, even though, county jail and death row is two completely different scenarios.
I'm sure.
I guess he felt some type of, what's the word I'm looking for, guilt or whatever. And he finally gave my lawyers an affidavit telling them what
Wow.
happened. And the craziest thing about that is my lawyer sat down, my investigator sat down with him and they asked him, who's the boss? Because his little organization was called NLC, the Nightlife Clique,
Oh, so this was a gang or organized
drug organization.
Okay.
And, they was asking him, who's the boss of the NLC? Where does the money go to?
Mm-hmm.
And he said the money goes to the DA. He's the boss.
What?
So the DA who tried both my cases was the boss of the drug organization.
And they proved this?
He admitted to it. Because
I
the
mean, you
FBI
can-
finally turned us over files that they had them under investigation since 1991.
Episode of Power, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm thinking Power. I was gonna
No.
say, I watch Power. That makes me kind of like
I haven't
a
seen it yet.
specialist
Everybody tells
in
me
this.
about
Listen,
it. I haven't seen it yet.
it's coming soon. We're gonna do a whole Netflix series on it. That's in the
Nice.
works, which I spoke to you about. That's one of the reasons we're here. But yeah, it's a compelling story,
Mhm.
and he's like obviously going through 24 years of a prison sentence is daunting enough, but having that
24 years.
right, but having that death sentence over you, and I mean, you were how many days away from execution?
One time I was 3 days away.
What?
My
You
execution
understand?
warrant was signed 4 times.
3 days away
and
from.
I was scheduled to be executed on May 11th, 2000, and my stay of execution was signed Monday morning on May 8th. So that morning they was taking me to SCI Rockview for phase 3, prepare
Prepare
my
you.
veins.
Prepare your veins. What is that
you gotta
about?
they test your veins, see if you eligible to be
Test your
executed.
veins. What are they
Yeah.
testing your veins for?
To see if you're eligible to be executed, if the needle's gonna go in.
What?
Yeah, they want to give you a physical. They want to make sure you're
Before
healthy.
they kill you?
Yeah. The crazy thing is that Friday, I'll never forget this.
Oh
What they
my
do is when they sign your warrant, they put you on what's called phase 2,
Uh-huh.
and they take all your property out your cell. Only thing you got in your cell is your sheets, your Bible or your Quran, none of your cosmetics. They box up all your property and they put it in the door in boxes in front of your door.
The day before, or how many days before? So
This
did you have to
is-
go through this?
This is once you get on phase 2. Once they sign your warrant,
Okay.
you go on phase 2. When you go on death row, it's called phase 1.
Mm-hmm.
When they sign your warrant to execute you, it's called phase 2. When they take you to the execution house, that's phase 3.
So the execution house
Mhm.
that's it, or do you have to stay there for like months?
No, you stay on
Days.
phase 2 for months. They used to, seclude you into a
Mhm.
special block, which was
Mhm.
B block in the jail.
Wow.
And it was GB. And
This
it's
is the real
plexiglass.
Green Mile, people.
Excuse me, it's plexiglass. You're like in a cage,
Okay.
and you're in your cell. In front of your cell is all your box of property. Then it's a cage in front of that with plexiglass on it, and the CO is sitting at the end of the tier, in the bubble, and there's a camera on your door that watches you 24/7.
Because most people, I think, would be like, "Hey, I'm gonna take my life before you take my life."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, many that have done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so whenever you need your toothbrush or anything out your property, you got to call a CO. Your soap,
Wow.
toothpaste, toothbrush, lotion, deodorant, whatever, you got to call a CO. So this Friday, I'm standing at the door watching Jerry Springer, and the counselor comes to the door and he says, "Mr. Johnson, I have some forms for you to fill out." So I'm like, "Okay." So he says, I have to ask you a couple questions. And, I don't proclaim to be the toughest guy in the world,
Mhm.
but I'm no slouch.
Mhm.
So
But at this point, is there really a reason to be tough? There's no. Like,
no.
yeah.
But you understand why I said that when I
Okay.
say what I'm getting ready to say. So he says, I have to ask you a few questions. We have to fill out this paperwork. And when he asked me this one question, my knees buckled. I almost dropped to the floor. How do you ask somebody this question? What do you want us to do with your body?
Ouch. Yeah.
And my knees buckled. I grabbed the door frame. I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
What did
yeah,
you just say
yeah.
to me?
Oh,
So
yeah, that's crazy.
he's like, what do you want us to do with your body? You're about to be executed next week. I said, stop talking to me. Stop talking to me. Stop talking to me. So I spazzed on him.
Yeah.
So he's like, we have to fill out this paperwork. You're going to Rockview on Monday to be prepped for execution. And I was like, didn't I just say you stop talking to me? So he walks away. The captain comes to the door. And I'll never forget this. He leans up against the door and he's like, "What you watching?" And I'm like, "Jerry Springer." And he didn't ask me nothing about what the counselor just said to me.
Mhm.
He just stood there and watched TV with me for the rest of the day.
Oh my goodness.
And I'll never forget that. How do you ask somebody, what do you want me to do with your body? I'm getting ready to
Yeah.
kill you.
Yeah.
What you want me to do with your body?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So,
That is,
that Monday
that's crazy.
morning, my lawyer came in and matter of fact, he wasn't even my lawyer. I had a paid lawyer at the time. My dad paid $80,000 for this lawyer out of Philly. And he went on not vacation. He went to China to adopt a daughter.
Mhm.
And when he went to China, they signed my execution warrant. His partner and his daughter tried to jump on my case and get the stay of execution, but they didn't know nothing about my case.
Mm.
So the judge denied it.
Mm.
And
Green Mile.
Time is running. Now I'm 3 days away.
3
And-
days away from execution on
Yeah.
death row.
And Lord, they come get me now. I thought they was lining me up.
What does
It's
that
Monday
mean
morning.
when you say
I
lining
thought they
you
were
up?
setting me up to get executed. Because like you said,
Okay.
a lot of dudes, they don't want to go. I've seen a lot of dudes
Yeah.
fight. No, you're not taking me. And they got to,
Yeah.
they call a goon squad. They come all suited up, the
Oh
turtle
my
suits,
goodness.
drag you out,
Oh
put
my
you on a gurney,
God.
strap you down, and roll you out the building.
Done.
So Monday, and the counselor had already told me you're going to Rockview Monday. So Monday morning, bright and early, it was 7:30. They come, excuse me,
Uh-oh.
and they said, you got to visit. Johnson, you got to visit. So I'm like, a visit? I said, nah, they trying something here. They trying something.
Mhm.
So he was like, go ahead, get yourself together. Put on my orange jumpsuit, handcuffs, shackles, come out the cell. And I'm like, where we going? And he said, we just told you, you got a legal visit. So I'm like, legal visit? My lawyer's in China. Now I'm really like, you lining me up. Y'all getting ready to check me out. So we start walking down the hall, butterflies, I'm nervous, I'm sweating.
Yeah.
So instead of turning right to go out of the building, we turn left to the visiting room.
Okay.
So I'm like, starting to calm down now.
Mhm.
Lawyer might have made it back. And we walked to the visiting room. Dude I never saw before in my life. Walks up to the window. He says, you Roderick Johnson? And I said, yeah. He said, can you read? I said, yeah. And he slammed a piece of paper on the window and said, read that. I just got you a stay of execution.
Wow.
And I just dropped down in the chair and started crying.
So a stay of execution means you just don't get executed that day. You're
Yeah.
still on death row.
Yeah, you're still on death
It
row.
just means that date just got pushed back.
Just
Right.
got pushed back.
Right. So what happened to have it like removed? What
You got to file appeals. As long as you have appeals in the courtroom,
they can't,
they won't sign your warrant. They won't sign your execution warrant. Well, let me say
but
this. They're
that
not
costs
supposed
money.
to. They're not supposed to. Because
Right.
the fourth time they signed my execution warrant, I had appeals
Mhm.
in the courtroom. I mean, in the, and they still signed it.
Wow.
But I got off for 2 weeks that time, but they still signed it.
You got the
I
date
got to stay
the
in
stay
2 weeks.
of execution. Wow. So what is the defining moment when you realized that this is, you can walk out of here a free man? What was that like? What did that feel like?
All right, let me say this. From day one, I believed I was going home. He could tell you that because he was there from day one.
Mhm.
From the day I got arrested,
Mhm.
my brother was there. He rode the whole 24 with me, came and
Mm.
picked me up the day I was released and everything.
Mm.
But I've always believed from day one, I'm going home.
Mm.
But it wasn't until I want to say like 2008, 2009, when the courts really started paying attention. I got to the federal, filed my writ of habeas corpus in the federal courts. And the crazy thing is, again, throughout my whole appeal process, we're telling my whole trial, not even appeal process, police corruption, the cops that arrested us in the Star Witness or in the Drug Corrupt Alliance, they're framing me. This is what's going on. The courts don't want to hear it. Appeals courts don't want to hear it. So one day, my investigator, he came to see me, and I said, look, and I used to always tell people this. I'm going to tell you my story, but I don't want you to believe me. Look at me as a liar. But when you walk out this room, go out there and prove me wrong. You're not going to do it. So he was like, all right. He listened to the story. He left. He said, I'll be back to see you in 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, he came back, and he said, Mr. Johnson, I heard your story. I heard what happened. He said, I don't want you to take no offense to this. He said, you know your case better than mine. He said, I went out to Reddit and I did my investigation. I did my groundwork. He said, and you're right. It's corruption in your case. It's corruption going on in Reddit. But he said, on a scale of 1 to 10, the corruption that I found in your case is a 2.
Mm.
He said, but the corruption that I found that's going on in Reddit with these cops is a 10.
Wow.
And the crazy thing is, he had went to, he's crafty. He went to the police evidence locker in City Hall. And he walked up to the evidence clerk and just started asking for various, different pieces of files on the cops, on the DA, on the Star Witness against me. Now, mind you, for years, even at my trial, the DA said this is fantasy. None of this stuff exists.
Mhm.
There's nothing here. He's
Mhm.
lying. None of this is going on. The evidence clerk started turning all these files over. all these turn of fair files on the DA, turn of fair files on the cops. All the dude who testified against me had 12 open cases, attempt murders, drugs, guns, all stuff that he never got locked up for. He would get into a shooting, and the police would come to the scene and say, "Oh, it's him," and walk away and leave. Collect no evidence.
Dirty.
You know, nothing was done.
Dirty.
One time
They're white. They're all white cops. Were they all white?
One's white, one's Hispanic.
Okay.
And he walks up to the evidence clerk, asks for the evidence. The evidence clerk starts turning over all these files. So when he finished, you know, putting all the evidence on the desk, on the counter, he asks my investigator, he says, "Where's your subpoena from the court?" So my investigator was like, "I don't have one." So he was like, "You can't get these files." So my investigator runs outside, calls my lawyer and said, "They got the evidence. They got it. I'm looking at it right now."
Wow.
That Monday morning, no, it wasn't even Monday morning, it was a Saturday. My lawyer went to the federal judge, ex parte in his chambers, sent the federal marshals to the courthouse, get it, they got it. So the judge is like, you know, that's an extraordinary event. I'm not going to do that. We don't do that. Send federal marshals to raid the courthouse, to raid the district attorney's office. I'm going to just give them a court order to turn everything over. So what the DA did now the attorney general was getting on board of the case. So they started turning the evidence over in what's called piecemeal fashion. So they would give us one file. They would wait 2-3 years, give us another file, or 2 files, or 3 files. Then they would wait another year and give us a piece of paper. Then they would wait another 6 months and give us 3 more files. So they just dragged it on.
Wow. Wait a minute. So eventually you were freed, or this all of this crookedness comes out, right? Did the cops did they get suspended? Did they get like what type of consequences?
They retired.
They retired. They were able to
Once I
retire
got
with their
convicted,
pension?
they retired.
Wow.
They both left. One went to the Hamburg
So nothing
Police Department.
stuck. Nothing stuck.
The other one moved to South Carolina. And
Wow.
karma is a B word, because the one that moved to South Carolina, his wife caught him cheating on her, and she ran him over with a car, and he's in a coma to this day.
Oh, wow. Well,
You
they
know-
say, there's that line in the Bible about revenge. So speaking of revenge, did you sue?
I'm in the process of doing that now. That's why I can't go into certain details.
Got it. Okay. So you still have an active law case.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Civil suit.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So what year did you go in?
1996, December 12th.
Different. 1996.
20 years old.
There were no iPhones.
No, I had a
1996 was
One
a
of those-
two-way pager.
Those gray Motorola's that
Two-way
flip open
pagers.
with the plastic.
Oh,
fake
you mean
antenna.
that mobile
Nextel.
device?
Yeah.
Oh,
those.
wow.
It wasn't even Nextel.
It wasn't even Nextel?
Nextel,
It was the car phone that goes in
Matter
the,
of fact,
no,
you say you saw the salt and pepper.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
No, I didn't see
All
it.
right, well,
Yeah.
when you see it, when
That phone,
Salt-
your phone is in there.
Salt, I think she's in the hospital.
Yeah.
That gray
Oh,
flip
okay.
Motorola.
The flip phone. What kind of phone do you have now?
I have an iPhone.
You have an iPhone.
Yeah.
So going in, right? And I'm just thinking about, like, my favorite movie is called Life. Going in, right? The
Mhm.
world looked and felt different, right? In
Mhm.
1996.
Mhm.
And then you came out in what year?
I just got out
2020.
December 1st.
Right.
Yeah,
2020. Wow. What an adjustment you have to make.
Yeah.
You are on social media.
Yes.
What is that? There was no social media when you went in, and internet
No.
was like barely there, right?
hmm
What has that been like, adjusting to life now in 2020?
Scary.
Oh, yeah, those.
Scary.
Scary.
Yeah.
Why?
Everything is so much different. So much. The phone really is, because toward the end they had tablets in the jail. So
So you were able to get acclimated
much,
with it
yeah.
that way, right?
But coming out into this world, into the plague that we're under,
Yeah,
and
right.
everything that's going on out
Right?
here in the world, yeah, it's crazy. It's every
Do
day.
you feel like you were, like, in terms of Rona, like you were safer inside? Because it's
No,
controlled,
because it's in the
right?
jail. It's in the jail. People catching it in the jails, dying,
Oh,
sick.
wow.
I'm getting calls from the jail. I got 3 calls from the jail this morning.
Oh, wow.
Dudes is getting rushed to the hospital. It's
Oh, my
crazy in the jails
goodness.
right now.
Oh, my goodness. So I'm sure it had to be really like it still is. I mean, this is still new to you.
Yeah.
Like it's only been what? We're only in we're not even we're out of
Almost
January.
February.
Yeah,
Yeah,
today's our last day. But 2 months.
Today's actually Tariq's birthday. Happy birthday,
Who
bro.
was that?
Uh-oh.
Eight's birthday.
Eight's birthday.
Eight's birthday.
Yeah.
Happy
Yeah, no,
birthday,
I
bro.
appreciate that, brother.
Happy birthday.
But-
Yeah, you
Happy
did
birthday
mention
to
that
you
at
too.
the top.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you want to do? Like 24 years incarcerated. What is something that you can't wait to do? Maybe when the world opens up. Or maybe something you can do now that you've just been sitting 24 hours, like, okay, besides the obvious.
My passion is what I want to do is I want to, well, first of all, I
Have a
wrote-
good meal and have good sex. I was thinking. Go. Certainly you've gotten that out of the way. Certainly. I'm sure.
I want to. Well, I wrote 3 books. I want to
Nice.
get those published, but I want to reach the kids. I want to prevent others from going through what I went through.
Mhm.
I got locked up when I was 20. I spent more time on this earth on death row
Incarcerated,
in
yeah.
prison
Mhm.
than I did as a free man in society.
Mm, mm.
And I want to prevent others from going through those pitfalls. That's my biggest dream. That's my biggest passion to, become a motivational speaker or, a mentor and just help others who are going through it make it through as I did. And or those who are on that path headed
Mhm.
there
Mhm.
to pump the brakes and slow, and realize what they're about to do.
Mhm. I have one more question for you. Today, looking back on that day that changed your life,
Uh-huh.
there is that one moment, whatever that was,
Mhm.
that maybe if you did this wouldn't have happened.
Actually, it was 3, maybe even 4, because I had a conversation
Oh,
with
wow.
8 too. But
If you could go back to that day, what would you have done differently
I would have went back to New York.
instead of hanging in Reading?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I would have went back because it's crazy, and I have this conversation with people often. And I know you're gonna latch on to this and toot your pom poms and scream. Y'all better listen, man, because women have this. I guess it's the intuition God gave y'all. Okay, the third eye. All right. So my mom and my son's mom, like a week before this happened, I had came to New York, spent time with my family, and my mom sat on the bed begging me and crying, don't go back out to PA.
Mm.
You have no family out there. There's nothing out there for you. And I'm like, Ma, I ain't trying to hear this. I gotta go get this money. And I went to see my son's mother, and we went shopping for my son, and she's doing the same thing. Don't go out there. Don't. But men, we have this, men, boys, teenagers, whatever you want to call it. We have this ego, we have this pride, and many times we allow it to blind us and get in the way, and then
To
we
do
fall
what
into
you
pitfalls.
want to do.
But it's always women. I don't know what it is. Y'all always are able to see, something that we don't see, and you
Mhm.
warn us.
Mhm.
And they warned me. And a week later, I was arrested.
Wow. Well, that's the reason why, and you men should know this, a man that findeth a wife or something close to a wife findeth a good thing. Yeah, because we have superpowers that you guys don't have. So yeah.
Mhm.
So wow, that's very interesting. And now your son is
He
how
just
old
turned
now?
24.
Wow.
in September.
And did he visit you? Did he
Yeah,
come
yeah, yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, 25. He just turned 25 in September.
What was that like? Like, being apart from him for so long. Like,
Not
make
only my
sure
son, but
your
my daughters.
lawsuit.
My
Oh, you
daughters
have
came to
daughters
see him
too.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Make
I
sure you have money in your lawsuit to cover all those years you lost with them, taking them to dances.
Money
Daddy
could
and
never
daughter
cover
dances.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
But my kids used to come see me. My dad would bring them. My mom would bring
Nice.
them. I've built a relationship with them. Through a glass because there was no contact visits.
Wow.
One of the things that broke my heart, and I think this is important for people to hear, is my son was probably, I want to say like 5 or 6. My mom and dad was bringing him out to see me, and he was asleep the whole trip. It was a 9-hour drive
Wow.
from New York to where I was locked up at. And my son didn't wake up until they got they was getting ready to make the turn off the highway down into the jail.
Facts.
And
Debates.
he woke up and he looked down at the jail and was like, "Oh, my daddy." And that broke my heart
Yeah,
because he didn't see a law firm.
Yeah.
He didn't see a hospital,
Saw jail,
thinking
yeah.
about a doctor, he saw jail
Mm-hmm.
at the age of 5 and
Wow.
6 or 6
Mhm.
and was like, "My daddy."
Wow.
That crushed me.
Yeah, that's hurting. Wow. Well, your story is continuing to be told. You still have empty pages, right? That you
Yeah.
have to write on.
Yeah.
So you have is it with Netflix? Did Netflix pick it up? Did you pitch
Yeah,
it to Netflix?
No, well, we
Are they
have.
producing it?
Well, it's a long story, but we already have a standing agreement with some of the homies out in the West Coast, custom made, I've done business with for years. They have a
Mhm.
standing agreement with Sony, and through Sony, we have distribution to Netflix.
Okay. Have you started to shoot? Have you
No,
started
no,
to
we're,
cast?
we're
It's still
sti-
early
Yeah,
stages.
we're still in the early stages.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Expect us to start filming probably about like summertime. something
Summertime.
like
Oh,
that.
right, because
Yeah.
it is COVID, but
COVID.
people are shooting in COVID.
Oh yeah, look, it's
They're
probably
still
it's probably
shooting in
even
COVID.
better.
I think so.
They're not gonna.
I mean,
They're definitely not gonna crack down on any kind of permits. Number one, and the streets are pretty much empty, so you have access to all of the shots you need. But
yeah. It's,
and
uh,
a
less
lot of these
traffic.
locations are cheaper.
yeah, because
you
they
know?
need the money.
They need that.
They
damn
need the money,
man. Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Well, it was great hearing your story. Very,
Appreciate it.
very, very interesting. And I know you have a nonprofit, right? You
We're
do
in
have
the
a
process
nonprofit.
of putting it together. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. How are you going to help people that are like you, right? How are you going to give back to that community? The young men that get accused of something that they didn't do. How can you help them?
Well, right now I'm taking college courses at John Jay
Oh, nice.
to get certification as a motivational speaker and mentor.
Nice.
And that's my plan. Once I get my certification, I can go.
Once the world opens up,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
should
I
all
can
Or you can do
align.
it virtually too now.
That-
You can do
yeah,
it virtually.
Yeah,
You
but
can-
I think virtually is less intimate. You know what I mean? It's harder to connect.
not through social media. I know it's new to you.
Just watch
2 months.
Pillow Talk.
Yeah, trust
And
me.
you'll see about the intimacy of social
it's like
media.
I have 50 people in the bed with me.
Wow.
Yeah. But welcome back to the world, and we look forward to hearing more from you and having your story be
I
told.
appreciate your time and this
Yeah, for
opportunity.
sure.
Listen,
this
and
was
if
good.
y'all need any other additional information for now, all of the info can be found on 8.org. That's
8.org.
the number 8ht.org.
EIGHT.
EI, the number 8,
Oh,
HT.
gosh.
Just like it's
I'll
spelled right
post
here
it.
on this.
Yeah, EI8HT.
There you go.
.org.
.org.
/
Roddy's story.
Roddy's story.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, cool, awesome. So who are you listening to when you went in? You were listening to Biggie. Oh, I mean, I guess you were listening to music while you were locked up, but who are you
Right.
listening to now?
Street Disciples.
Street disciples, my family, my brothers, my team.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we listening to right now. Street disciples.
Mhm. Okay.
It's all
All right,
about
who
the
else?
family, expanding.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Yeah, so you're still old school with your music, which is best, I think.
I love
mean,
R&B. I love
Okay.
R&B, slow jam.
Hey,
Okay.
singing some of that.
Wait, you
we're
sing
not-
too?
We're not doing that.
You sing too?
Yeah, he
Nah,
do.
I don't sing.
Okay.
I don't do that.
All right, cool.
They got jokes today. It's his birthday. He's entitled to that.
Happy birthday. Did you bring a bottle? I thought I saw a bottle. I thought I saw a bag
You know,
with a bottle.
I had a bottle, but I also I see there's a big sign that says
Oh, that's in here. Out there we
Damn,
can
you
drink.
still using bottles?
I thought I
you
saw a
grew out of
bottle
that stage
bag.
already.
I still got I still got wine and champagne. I'm
Oh,
a
yeah.
I'm a wine
that kind of
drinker.
What are you
bottle.
doing for your birthday?
I'm a wine
Nothing.
drinker. You know what?
Party?
I actually have to run up out of here. Like
Yeah, we're
ASAP.
actually we're done.
Yeah.
We're done.
I have
We
to
5 minutes.
have a
Thanks,
little
everybody.
event planned for me.
Yeah. Well-
Uptown.
What else is going on in the world? I was so consumed last night with the Wendy Williams show. It was really, really, really good. What else? What else did I miss? I'm sorry I didn't watch the Salt and Pepper thing. I'll get to it. Oh, WandaVision. I don't know. I can't get into it. It was so cheesy. It was a struggle to sit through the whole Lucy Arnaz first show. It was really cheesy. I'm not understanding why they're there. They don't even know why they're there in the first show. They couldn't even put their story together. I guess that comes later. And then I think it turns into a real Avenger look and feel, right? I did see that. That's the 4th episode. Okay, so WandaVision is a true. They're looking at me like, what? You should see their eyes.
Yeah.
They're like, what?
Yeah, you're speaking a whole nother love
It is.
language
It's
to
a
us
show
right
on
now. Yeah.
Disney, like The Mandalorian. I tried. I couldn't get into that. So now I'm trying this whole WandaVision. I did 1.5 show, and I had to drop it because Your Honor on Showtime is one of my favorite shows. Your Honor is really, really good. So I've been watching that, and I'm gonna try again tonight to finish the half of the show. Well, I hear, Jay, that it turns into, like, I did see a clip. It turned into like the whole real Marvel stuff that we know and love. They go into their real costumes and everything. So we'll see. Will you watch it with me, Jay? Will you struggle with me, Jay? Okay, so let's do this together. Don't leave me hanging by myself. And lots and lots of alcohol, I think, or lots and lots of sativa or indica. It depends on what I'm feeling. All right, people, thank you for tuning in. You could have been anywhere in the world today. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
You could
you
have
for
been
your support.
anywhere in the world today, but you're here with us at Fias Playhouse. Shout out to our new listeners, 95.9, The Plug. So happy. And thank you to our DTF family for having us. And shout out to our super producer, Knowledge. for
Knowledge
keeping
Bond.
the train on
Knowledge.
track.
And congrats to
everybody.
you too.
Thank
for the
you.
new platform.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
I wouldn't be here without you
Congratulations.
two.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
It's a
be here
beautiful
without you
thing.
two. Thank you so much. All right. Peace out, everybody.